Hey, welcome back to another episode of I'm Just a Dude. I'm going to I have a dehumidifier going and an air conditioner, maybe a little loud, so I'm going to turn those off here shortly. But I was watching a video by M CARBO, and they have a spring kit for the Sig P365. It's looking to do something to the trigger of this thing. Not that the trigger on the P365 X Macro is bad, but I'm one that will not leave well enough alone and like to tinker with things. And started watching the video and thought to myself that maybe I can do a little poor man's job, trigger job on this 365 X Macro to smooth some things up just a little. So we'll see. Do this at your own risk. I'm going to do this and I'll have to test it later, so I'm not even sure if it's going to work or not. I did this before on a Ruger American rifle, not knowing if it would work or not. I'm going to take a spring of a ballpoint pen and chop it down, and where that's going is on the safety plunger. Then I'm going to polish up the sear on this 365 X Macro comp. To get in the internals of this looks pretty complex. There's a lot of little pins, a lot of little springs, a lot of little pieces, parts. It's not as simple as a Glock trigger. So instead of digging into the whole thing, what I'm going to do is a DIY poor man's trigger job on this X Macro. To go into the M CARBO, I'm going to put a link in the description below. You can get this spring kit for it. It reduces the trigger pull by about 30%, they say. This is going to be a carry pistol. I don't want an exceptionally light trigger on it. Not that this is bad or gritty, because it's not. It's really a nice little trigger for what it is. What we're going to try to do is just touch it up a little bit. That's what we'll call it, a little touch-up. Here's your main sear engagement. Here's your safety plunger. I'm going to replace that spring with one out of a ballpoint pen. Again, do this at your own risk. I'm then going to polish up this little sear between the safety plunger, right there. Firing and disconnect sear. This is on your firing pin, and this is the sear that hooks on your trigger. Anyway, what I was saying was, I've heard that a gun's worst enemy is this right here, a Dremel tool with a wing nut behind it like myself, fucking around with shit. Again, you're not going to see this from gun tubers because they're afraid of getting demonetized. I'm not monetized, so I don't give a shit. And so I'm going to show you what I'm doing today and bring you along. Like I said, it may help out. It may not at all. It may help some. We're gonna find out. No take. Ah, you fucker. Fuck these trigger gauges too. God. 13 pounds. Nope. Ah, you fucker. 4 pounds 9 ounce. Fuck. 4 pounds 9. Oh. And looky there. Well, I'm sorry, gang. Like I said, if it's not one thing, it's another. Fucking trigger gauge broke. A little piece right there that on the striker sleeve you have to depress. To get this back plate off. This is different than in the video. I think this slides over. All right, a little different from the 365 or 365 XL, or I don't know. I don't have any to compare it to. There is a detemp pen that you push down right here to get out. And this X Macro, it's a whole sleeve. So I had to pry this over. It's like a leaf spring there, kind of. It's a whole sleeve in there, actually. Come to look at it. Had to pry that over and then push down in order to release that tension to get this back plate off. As you can see, I kind of boogered it up there with a tool trying to get that out. Apparently that's different from a regular 365 XL. But I figured if 50% of it or half of it is better, then it's going to be better. We're going to replace this little spring. This is your safety plunger spring. When you do this, you're fucking with your safety. I don't recommend it. We're just going to see what happens though. Why not? Here's a ballpoint pen. That one looks pretty chintzy. That one's a pretty large coil. That's a little tighter coil. It's bigger though in diameter. I'm going to clip this down, but we're going to go based off the length of the factory. Ta-da. So this factory spring is pretty stiff. Ballpoint pen spring is not as. Let's give it a shot. But first, before we get back into putting it together, let's do a little polishing. When you get a Dremel, these things are rotating, I don't know, 10,000 RPM, 30,000 RPM. It doesn't take a whole lot. There we go. You should be able to see that shiny now. That's your engagement sear on that. Here's this sear. Before. When you're fucking around with this, this is what makes the gun go bang. So be careful. I'm going to polish this underside, which is on that safety plunger disengagement interface. There's a little depression on the top of that slide. I'm assuming where that factory spring sits in there, like that. Oh, I see. This may not work, y'all. I think the diameter of that is too big. It's gonna be too big. So the way this works is the spring rides inside that sleeve of the safety plunger. And that drops in like this. And there is a little space for it right there to sit in. So that spring is not going to work. Dare I cut off a coil of the factory spring? Yeah, we are. For you, my viewers, we're going to give it a shot, see what happens. If it's a bad idea, I'll let you know. There we go. So I did it. I cut off a coil on the factory safety plunge. As the M CARBO guy was saying, gun grease is like gun glue. Holds stuff in place long enough to get it back. So put a little dab of Lucas gun grease on this. He's right. Ta-da. Yep, there it is. Let's get a little grease in there. Motherfucker. Grease the inside of the sleeve. Oh yeah, that's much better. Got a bunch of goop in there now. So later on down the road, may need to come in and clean that up. Clean that out. But it does slide much better. Alright, let's see if we can put Humpty Dumpty back together again. This is the hardest part. You gotta collapse that whole sleeve. You gotta pinch this sleeve in so it will depress. I guess watching that video, the 365, there's just it has its own designated pin that you depress, and then this whole thing will collapse, but not this. No siree. Different. So in order to get this sleeve to slide back down, you got to depress the safety plunger. There's that. Now you got to depress the sleeve. There's that. Man, that's a motherfucker. To where it's all the way like that, down that groove, before you can get this damn plunger back in. Damn it, y'all. It's tough. Nah. Need one more hand for this. It's proving difficult, y'all. Ah! Maybe a screwdriver is the ticket. Let's try to push this top edge. Stay. Yes! It's a smoother pull. I don't know if it did anything on the weight. I doubt it. We're not changing the plunger spring or the sear spring, which is going to have the most impact on your pull weight. But it is smoother. This is my DIY poor man's trigger job. This is just me. I'm just a dude. I'm not a professional. I'm not a gunsmith. I'm just tinkering around. Maybe save you some time, some grief, some headaches. What to do, what not to do. Tinker at your own risk. Getting that off and on was a bitch. Appreciate it. I don't make any money off this. And the reason why I'm doing this and showing you and bringing you along is because they don't make any money off of it. Most of these gun tubers won't do such a thing because they are monetized. And the powers that be say this is a no-no. And when you do something like this, we take your advertising funds away. Because I'd imagine they probably make a pretty good dime off of what they're doing. I know they used to. I don't know if they can this day and age, but I know Hickok 45 here made a lot of money back in the day before YouTube started smacking down. Thanks for tuning in. Please show your support. Subscribe to this channel. Give it a thumbs up. Share it. Till next time, be safe, y'all.